Yes, welcome back. We are back in business, baby. WrestleMania 37 coming to us live, and the WWE Universe shall be in attendance. A two-night spectacular in Tampa Bay. What better man to have in the room with us than with the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci.
Yes, the King in Gold is here for WrestleMania 37. So we skipped Fastlane for whatever reason, so the champ got a bye. But
let me dispel any rumors out there on the dark webs that are saying that I didn't want to face Booch down because I was worried about losing. Well, let me tell you this. I'm so used to losing to Booch that I'm not worried about it anymore. Okay? But all of that's going to change at the pinnacle of sports entertainment this very weekend, a two-night spectacular. Booch, we both knew that nothing was going to happen at Fastlane, and we were both right. It's a total waste of time. It's a money grab, and I'll be darned if I'm going to waste 3 hours watching that crap. But we don't have a ton of time. We're not going to look at the past. Booch is the current champion, not for long, and the reason why is because I'm going to get more predictions right than the Booch this time around.
Absolutely. It's a two-night event. Before we do get into it, and we'll make this quick because I know we're playing against the clock here. We do have to give a shout out to the Hall of Famers that went in this year. They combined the class from last year and this year. We talked about last year's class, and with the exception of Batista getting taken out of that class and being rescheduled for a later date, those guys had their time. But we do have to give a shout out to Molly Holly, went into the Hall of Fame this year, two-time women's champion, former hardcore champion. Eric Bischoff getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That well deserved, and was one of those moments where it's like, is that going to happen? But it did. The Big Red Machine Kane went into the Hall of Fame. We had the Great Khali, which everyone's still kind of questioning that one. But apparently he's done so much work behind the scenes of WWE as far as getting them into India and training a lot of wrestlers in his wrestling school, that's how he got the Hall of Fame spot, despite his in-ring career being Then, of course, RVD, Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show gets into the Hall of Fame. And in the celebrity wing, we have Ozzy Osbourne went into the Hall of Fame. And for the Warrior Award, they had Rich Herring, who's been with the WWE for more than 50 years. He's a senior vice president of government relations and risk management, and he was instrumental in expanding the company from regional to worldwide. So he's one of the guys behind the scenes that helped Vince take it worldwide. And we do have to give a shout out to two guys who were added to 2020, William Shatner, Captain Kirk himself, and of course, Titus O'Neil getting the Warrior Award for his charity work in Tampa. So those are the Hall of Famers, well-deserved, well-respected. And so now let's find out how many matches I'm going to beat Wins in.
Yeah. We'll see about that, tough time talker. Here we go. Let's get to it. Let's start with the fairer sex, right? As the boss, Sasha Banks, takes us on the EST of WWE, Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Booch, the champ goes first. I defer. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. This one, I already know what I want. But first, let me say, Stephanie McMahon, I have to give a shout out to you because you made the best decision possible. This is the main event of night one, and it should be. Why? Because Bianca Belair won the Women's Royal Rumble. If you're going to have a two-night event, the Women's Royal Rumble should main event the first show. The men Royal Rumble winner should main event the second show. So thank you, Stephanie, for seeing the light. That being said, Bianca Belair will be your new women's champion. I guarantee it. It is the time for EST to beat the boss.
I 100% agree. So far, both of us have elected to go with the challenger. Let me bold that. Here we go. Let's take it down the line. Bobby Lashley taking on Drew McIntyre. Booch, a couple questions that I kind of want to raise for you and perhaps those who are listening is we all want to know. MVP's been kind of, carrying around a cane for a while, but we both know that's a gimmick. We both know he's able to compete. How big of a role? Are we going to see any interference there? And will we see some run-in by Sheamus on behalf of Drew or to hurt Drew? And could you also see Cedric and Shelton coming down to run interference as well?
Yes. I could see them possibly interfering. I don't think Sheamus is going to get involved. I think he has made his point with Drew. I don't think they're going to be fighting again anytime soon, unless it's to rekindle the friendship, which would be weird because they literally just turned on each other recently, or Sheamus just turned on him. I think Cedric and Shelton might get involved if they split the Hurt Business, or if the whole thing could be a ruse and they put the Hurt Business back together, because apparently behind the scenes, Vince wanted to split the Hurt Business up, and the Hurt Business went to Vince and begged him not to do it. But Vince was dead set on breaking up the Hurt Business. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it doesn't lead to Shelton Benjamin being the WWE champion, then breaking up the Hurt Business is meaningless, because you're just going to bury both these guys in the process of building up Bobby Lashley. And he doesn't need to be built up anymore. He's there. So splitting up the Hurt Business was a horrible idea. So as far as this match goes, this is the hardest one to call. But I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to say Bobby Lashley keeps it, and he should. And just to clarify that for anybody out there, I am not saying Bobby should keep it because he's black and WWE needs more black champions. I'm saying Bobby needs to keep it because he's a dominant sumbitch and earned it. Clarify that. Bobby Lashley retains.
I'm going to take Drew McIntyre. Yeah, I think that all of this sideshow is just a way to hype this matchup. Exactly. And I think Bobby's deserving of what he has around his waist. But I also think that Drew McIntyre is coming back with a vengeance, and he's going to win that belt back. And it's also going to lend to kind of what Vince ultimately wants is a breakup, because there's going to be something that happens that costs Bobby the match, and they'll incorporate that into the eventual breakup because Vince always gets his way. They're just delaying the inevitable there. Okay, this next one to me is just a waste of time, but we'll talk about it briefly. The Miz and Morrison taking on Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. What do you think?
Well, we have a very terrible rapper.
Awful.
Very, very terrible rapper, very terrible entertainer, very terrible wrestler going up against Bad Bunny. And I got to say, this is going to be an awkward. No, I'm kidding. Bad Bunny sucks too.
Well played, Booch.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I know Miz is a terrible rapper and he does it on purpose, so the gimmick is funny, but I just had to do that one time. But anyway, this is going to be a waste of time. And it's going to be Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, only because it's a tag team match. It's Damian Priest is new to the roster, so he's probably going to pin Morrison or Miz or do something to help Bad Bunny. So it's going to be Bad Bunny and Damian.
100% agree. There's no way they lose that match. So here we go. Third match of the night. Raw Tag Team Champions Kofi and Xavier square up against Style and Omos. Booch, I'm going to give a hot take. The Wenz's weekly tepid take here is this is where the split happens and Omos joins New Day.
If they do that, that will be the saddest thing I've ever seen at a WrestleMania. And I've seen some sad things at WrestleMania. But so you think the New Day is going to win?
I think the New Day is going to win, and Omos is going to join the New Day because they've been teasing this with the story. AJ doesn't know you. He doesn't really care about you. And all of these little anecdotes that they've been doing week in and week out are finally going to culminate. And I think it's going to lead to the replacement of Big E, as, you know, he's already in singles competition at Mania. He's kind of separated himself from the rest of New Day to some degree. He hasn't been seen with them as much as he was before. So what better replacement than with Omos? I think it's going to happen. It's definitely a tepid take. Nobody will see it coming except for yours truly. And if I get this right, and if this happens, WWE, you owe Vincent Kennedy Bucci a job.
Yes, absolutely. That is a hot take and very, very, very strong take. I didn't even think about that till you just said it, but it makes perfect sense. Still not happy with the New Day being the tag team champions. I have a strong feeling AJ and Omos could take it just because I feel like AJ hasn't been without a belt for a while. The New Day, they don't need these tag team titles. It's not helping the division. It's not helping to build better tag teams. If anything, it's holding people back because they just been there, done that. It's like they're a comedy gimmick, and they need to be doing that more instead of just holding titles that they've held 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So maybe even longer. So I'm going with AJ and Omos. I feel like this is their time to shine.
All right, so you're going with Styles and Omos. I'm going with Kofi and Xavier there. Braun Strowman versus Shane O'Mac in a steel cage match. This is another hot take, but I think this is going to happen. We're going to see the return of the Mean Street Posse.
Oh, okay. That could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely. I mean, the Mean Street Posse was very much, Shane's buddies. They were known for bullying stuff, and
That's it.
This is the Undertaker, so it would make sense to bring them in if they can get them there. So, you going with Shane O'Mac?
I'm going with Shane O'Mac. It's just too easy. Like on paper, Braun Strowman should crush him. And they played it so well. Shane always narrowly escaping the grasp. So Braun's going to say, come get these hands. And here comes the Mean Street Posse. So look out. You're going to see the best and the toughest group from Connecticut storm Raymond James Stadium and take over the squared circle and help Shane O'Mac beat the monster among men, the Braun Express, Mr. Strowman.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to say because the cage match, it definitely favors Shane McMahon because he can escape the cage to win. But I don't know how much longer they want to keep this rivalry going. And I feel like where it's at right now with how they've been doing this, it's one of those moments where if Braun doesn't win, they've pretty much killed his gimmick. So because I don't think WWE's in a rush to do that, I'm going to go with Braun. I think this is where he gets his revenge. I feel like it's going to be, he's been getting bullied, mocked, ridiculed. This is where he overcomes the odds.
All right, so Booch is taking Braun, and I'm taking Shane O'Mac. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. I'd love to see Cesaro win, but he's not going to win this match. Seth Rollins is clearly going to win this match.
Yeah, that's a given. This is one of those matches that's just there for a reason, because it's 2 nights. They need to fill it up. That's a filler match. No disrespect to the guys, but from a storyline standpoint, this is a filler. Seth wins.
Absolutely. All right, let's take it back to the ladies. Lana and Naomi taking on Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, taking on Liv Life and Ruby, and they're taking on Natalya and Tamina. This is a turmoil match, Booch. So the winner of this match takes on the champs the next night. So we're going to get to night 2 here right after this prediction. What say you, Booch? Who's taking their talents to night 2 at Mania 37?
Just because I feel like this is a new team and there's a lot of emphasis on them, I'm going with Natalya and Tamina just because I feel like they're the ones that will put up the most fight at WrestleMania. The rest of them are just annoying.
Yeah, I know you're not a big fan of Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose, just not Dana. I mean, I like Dana, just not Mandy.
Yeah, it gets confusing. Yeah. I'm going to take Lana and Naomi to win this match. All right, so here we are. Night 1 is over. Booch, I've put on 4 pounds of water weight. I've had entirely too much beer. And then the next night is Sunday night. And here we go. Let's just get going with it. We're talking about the head of the table, Roman Reigns, the champ with Heyman at his side, taking on Edge and Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match for the WWE Universal Championship. Booch, you want to go first on this prediction?
Yes, and I would like to say that this triple threat match is the biggest bunch of BS I've ever seen. Daniel Bryan has literally been shoehorned into this match for logic reasons that make no sense. I mean, look, you lost multiple times. And even when he said before about how let me fight Roman on night 1 and then the winner can fight night 2, like I would have gladly taken that over the crap over a triple threat match. I'm sick of triple threat matches because all this is a ploy to protect the tribal chief. So if Edge or Daniel Bryan wins this match, they can pin or tap out each other and Roman can stay dominant. That's all this is. They're not ready for the tribal chief to take a serious L. So this is what they're going to do. And if there's a brain in the skull of anyone in creative, you are giving this belt to Edge. There is no reason not to give this belt to Edge. Daniel Bryan, at some point down the road, he can fight Edge one-on-one and take it later. This is Edge's time. He's back. He won the Rumble. He's fighting the title he never lost. He's got a better story than anything Daniel Bryan's trying to pull. So I'm going with Edge.
Wow. That's huge. I don't know, man. I love the idea. I still think it's a little gimmicky given Edge's age. I know he's recovered, but at this point, I think Roman Reigns wins this match and maintains champion. And I guess that's just the way it is, man. I'd love to see Edge win this match, but I don't think it's going to happen, man. I hate that I'm saying that, and I hate that I'm going with Roman Reigns, but I think he's just going to win this match. So let's take it to a match that I think we're both going to agree on. Asuka defending her title, Raw Women's Championship, against Rhea Ripley, the sensation, Rhea Ripley. Booch, I'm taking Ripley on this one, and this is a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. I want to see brutality inflicted upon Japanese gibberish so badly. I am so happy that Rhea's getting this title shot. I am glad that Charlotte went to go film a damn movie or something. I don't know what was going on. 1 minute she disappeared. I've been hearing rumors about Charlotte. One minute she's got COVID. The next minute she got she's filming a remake of Walking Tall. And then the next minute she's apparently, when Andrade, her husband, wanted a release, the deal was, we'll give him the release if you sit out WrestleMania, and she sat out WrestleMania. I don't know which one of these are true. These are all rumors around the internet. Either way, whatever it was, I'm glad Charlotte's not here.
Charlotte's married to Andrade?
Yes.
I did not know that. Yeah. Wow.
And that's, but yeah, and he, yeah, and then
they cut ties with him a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they did, because apparently the deal was Andrade wanted his release, but WWE wouldn't give it to him. So Charlotte went to ask for it, like demanded it practically. Like, I think she was going to like walk out or something. There was a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not. So they said, fine, we'll give him the release if you sit out WrestleMania. And she said, okay. So I don't know if that's true, but I do know she's got a reboot of Walking Tall that she's filming, and she did have COVID at one point. So either way, she's not at WrestleMania, which puts a smile on my face, and we get to see a real women's match going on, somebody who actually deserves to be a champion, who actually earned the spot that she's in, someone that actually had to scratch and claw to get to the top. Rhea Ripley deserves this title, and she's winning it.
You know, Booch, I initially was going to say Rhea Ripley is going to win this match, but you brought up something very interesting. You said Charlotte Flair is not going to be at WrestleMania.
Nope, she ain't here.
I think Charlotte Flair, here's my third hot take of the day. Charlotte Flair is going to make it extremely difficult for Rhea Ripley to win this match, cost Rhea Ripley the match, and this is going to actually create a triple threat match at Backlash between Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka for the women's championship.
Oh, God.
You know it's going to happen. There's no way there's a WrestleMania without Charlotte Flair spelled a lot different than it is on TV.
The expletives that I will be throwing if that happens will get me banned from Twitch for life.
So that's my take. I think that Asuka retains because there's outside interference by Charlotte Flair that costs Rhea Ripley the championship. Intended or not, she's going to suffer because of the actions of Charlotte Flair. That's my hot take.
All right.
Write that one down. Here's another one that I'm kind of somewhat borderline interested in, but it just got really weird for me, and that therefore I kind of lost some interest. The Fiend with Alexa Bliss at his side taking on Randy Orton. No title, just bragging rights and all that. What say you?
Well, first of all, let me just say I like the fact that it's going to be a match and not a Firefly Funhouse. Don't get me wrong. I loved the Firefly Funhouse last year. I thought it was very well done. But now that we have fans in the stands, we don't need any more cinematic matches right now. So let's have them in the ring. Let's have them have a match. And I think the Fiend is going to win because it's going to put the exclamation points on his revenge. Because Randy wants another piece of the puzzle that the Fiend has to get rid of to take care of all the people who have truly wronged him. So this is the Fiend's time. He's coming back from being burned alive in the ring back in December. So the Fiend's going to take it. And I love the new wardrobe they got for him.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Yeah, I think the Fiend wins this match. He's been kind of in and out of the scene week to week. And so therefore I think he's gonna, after Mania, really take a mainstay on the stage, and this is going to be the beginning of that. I take the Fiend as well with Bliss at his side. Intercontinental Champion Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight for the championship itself. This is really stupid to me. I think it's a gimmick, and I think it's disrespectful to anybody that is genuinely Nigerian. And if Apollo Crews is Nigerian, why pull out this gimmick this far into his career?
Well, to clarify, he actually is Nigerian.
Okay.
And the reason he's pulling this gimmick out, I guess, is because they want to give him something. You know, Apollo Crews has great, amazing skill in the ring. He's got the look, he's got the moves, he's got everything. His promos just were never on point. So by making him a heel and giving him a gimmick, it gives him something to work with. And, you know, there are some people that have accents that come and go. So it makes sense. It's like, you know, it's easy for anybody to throw on an accent if you know how to do one. It's like right now I'm talking normal, but if I wanted to come on and be like, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how you doing? My name is Anjay. Would you like some curry? I did an Indian accent right off the bat. I'm not even Indian. So it is possible for someone to just all of a sudden show up with an accent. You can, and it makes even more sense if it's an accent of a, nationality that you have. So I guess it just gives them something to work with. And personally, I'm enjoying it because I like the fact it's a different side of Apollo. He's a lot more aggressive, he's a lot more tough. I was pissed he didn't win at Fastlane. So I feel like for this gimmick to work, he has to take the title at WrestleMania. He has to win this. Otherwise, he did all it for nothing. So 100% Apollo Crews wins this.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with the outcome of that match. I think Crews wins. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with Logan Paul at his side. Obviously, this is going to be a way for Logan Paul to kind of become more of a mainstay on the brand. I don't watch SmackDown, so I'm not really familiar with the storyline other than the fact these guys have been friends, frenemies, and everything in between for 500 years. And I don't know. I'm over the rivalry, but they continue to drag it out. So I'll take Sami Zayn.
I am too. Just because he has Logan Paul in his corner, and I feel like he's going to play a factor. Like It's going to help build Sami Zayn, especially if Logan Paul is doing more regular stuff with WWE. Because, Logan Paul, he's an interesting guy, and it's easy for him to be in a heel role because naturally people don't like him. I find him entertaining at times, but a lot of people hate Logan Paul, can't stand him. The controversy he went through a few years ago didn't help either. So, if anybody knows the story about Japan, Google it. We don't have time to talk about it here, but let's just say he got a lot of heat for a long time. So being a heel works for him. So I'm going with Sami.
Yeah, totally. Riddle, the original bro, taking on Sheamus for the United States Championship. Booch, I know you despise Riddle. I love it. I know you just want to punch him off of that scooter that he rides everywhere. So Sheamus may do that again. But I'm going to take Riddle. I think Sheamus winning the United States Championship right now, it does nothing for him. Other than, he's been a world champion before. It's such a serious backwalk. Why do that? Why not let Riddle grow into this? Why not make the next competitor somebody that they want to groom to be the next United States Championship and not have somebody that used to be world champion take that far of a step back? I'm going to take Riddle in this match.
Well, the U.S. title to me is not a demotion. Any wrestler who sees that, that's an issue. As far as I'm concerned, Riddle doesn't deserve to grow, so I'm happy with Sheamus kicking his head off and taking that championship. See what I did there? And taking the United States Championship because they just built him into this gimmick. He's a heel now. He's doing all this stuff. He's obviously not going to be the WWE champion. I thought it was going to be him and McIntyre at Mania, which is what I think everybody wanted to see at the time. So I feel like having him be the United States champion works. And then eventually, if Drew does become WWE champion, maybe they can reignite that rivalry and Sheamus can take it then. But I feel like Sheamus would be great as a U.S. champion, so I'm gonna go with him.
Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler with Reginald at their side defend their championship against the tag team turmoil, easy for me to say, winners from night one. Booch, let's take a rewind here. Let's talk about the end of night one. I chose Lana and Naomi. You chose Natalya and Tamina. Who's going to win this match? You first.
Well, that's the tough part because it says Nia and Shayna against the winner.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the question: we got to answer this. Say you pick Lana and Naomi. What if they don't? So you're saying what if they don't win?
Well, I wouldn't have picked them if I didn't think that they were going to give Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler a run for their money.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, what if they don't win the turmoil match on night one?
This is a weird circumstance. You lose both matches.
Okay, we just want to make sure. So you lose. So if you pick them to beat Nia and Shayna, and they don't win at all, like Lana and Naomi don't even win, you just lose. Period.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I just want to clarify that because I need to know that. So,
well, you're going to lose anyway. So why do you even care?
Because I'm not gonna lose. I am the king in gold for a reason.
Listen, when I drink the Wensweiser here, my seltzer water, I'm undefeated.
Yes. Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night. So we got this is a tough one. I feel like this is WrestleMania. Nia and Shane have been chance for a long time. Don't know. I'm going to say Natalya and Tamina because I feel like regardless, this is the time for Nia and Shayna to drop the belts. They've been champs for quite a while. So I feel like this is their time. It's time for them to drop it. They've run through everybody. You need somebody. Tamina's big and bad enough to take on both of them. So it makes sense. So I feel like, and plus they're putting a lot of emphasis on this new team. So the only way to give them more attention would be to put the titles on them. So I'll go with Natalya and Tamina.
I'm going to go with Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler. And there you have it, Booch, our WrestleMania predictions. We're going to do a show after WrestleMania, probably the week to follow or the week after, talking about the new champion in gold. Very excited about this, my new reign and tenure. I'm going to cut taxes. Less taxes, more freedom, as our good friend Eric von Sockthroat used to say. But we never, ever like to leave an episode of the Male Soap Opera Moment without saying a couple key things, one of which is, have a nice day.
The other is, bang, bang.